Monkeys love bananas. Everyone knows that. It's hard to really separate the two in any show, movie, or game you see. Everywhere you see one, you see the other. It's yin and yang. Except the monkey version, I guess. Donkey Kong. Banana. Curious George. Banana. The monkey from the Jungle Book who I definitely know his name. Banana. This sweet, yellow-colored nectar from the gods can't escape the grasp of any primate. Obviously, this holds true in the Monkey Ball franchise as well. Oh wait, this is the covers, the promotions, there's tons of bananas everywhere you look. The last 3 games were called Banana Splits, Banana Blitz, and Banana Mania. I mean, the first couple games were literally sponsored by Dole Bananas. How sick is that? Unfortunately, we weren't so lucky in Banana Mania. Sega. Each level is riddled with bananas. You can't escape them. Like Tfue once said, you either like video games or you're good at them. And Tfue jumped off a bridge once, so... But I had too much fun in my first playthrough, and it was time for a real challenge. And to prove myself as the true gaming warlord, the rules were simple. Beat Banana Mania with no bananas. That means no helper mode, no jumping, and no bananas. Can I become the ultimate Monkey Ball Banana Mania gaming powerhouse? I guess let's find out. To start off, I chose Sonic as my character. Sonic collects rings, not bananas, so ladies and gentlemen, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is completable bananaless. But that's a little too cheap for me. Let's use the best character in the game, Agent Baby. You'll see why later. We start our journey at Stage 1, Jungle Islands, filled with luscious trees, rainbows, waterfalls, and beanstalks, I think. This stage is filled with easy beginner courses that really aren't too difficult. Starting at the beginning, 1-1, 1-2, and 1-3 were all pretty simple. 1-4 was also easy, but I kind of wanted to do it the fun way, and I definitely got it first try. Level 1-5 was filled with treadmills. That being said though, it really wasn't that bad. As long as you swerve a little bit, 1-6 really isn't that bad either. 1-7 was really the first level that kind of gave me trouble. The ramp you go up is littered with bananas. Getting up the ramp while still trying to avoid the bananas was a bit too tricky, and unfortunately this is where the challenge had to end. Yeah, I'm just kidding. You could just skip it entirely. Also, it's not that hard, I was lying. 1-8 Windy Slide was a bit tougher. You have to roll back and forth across the track with downhills that progressively get steeper. Most of the way this isn't too bad. You just have to be good at weaving and dodge the bananas. Towards the end, it does get a bit more difficult though. I even had a few close calls, but after a few attempts, I found the right line and completed it. All in all, it wasn't too tricky. Neither was 1-9. There is a giant Beyblade though, so you're gonna have to watch out. And it's pretty much the same for 1-10, though it does take a little bit to complete. And we're on to stage 2, Volcanic Magma. This stage is covered head to toe in lava and wouldn't even be surprised if Bowser had a couple of castles down here. The stage looks menacing, but ironically, wasn't anything too crazy. For 2-1, it was pretty straightforward. Just stay along the outside. For 2-2, I had to use a little bit of caution, but overall, not too bad. And 2-3, just make sure to avoid the beans. And it's pretty easy. 2-4 was a different story. The pipe wasn't too bad, but the ending looked like it could be the end of our run. There's a thin path that is literally impossible to get past the bananas on. You can jump past, but that's kind of lame. With that being said, I just jumped off the platform in the beginning. That way you can just avoid the bridge problem entirely. With a few nice bounces, you can just make it in the finish. 2-5 is another boring level. Just make sure to get past the squares and do the level normally. Once you find the right line, 2-6 isn't that bad. You just have to dodge the bananas. Be sure to go slow through the finish though, because there is a little yellow demon on the other side. 2-7 is a little more precise. You have to make sure you're going entirely straight on the complete edge of the path. If you move even a tiny bit, you'll either fall off or, even worse, get a good old dose of vitamin K. At the end, there is a big problem. This guy. There's not enough space to go around or wiggle past. The only solution is to use a jump. A big jump. Technically, if you jump from the top all the way to the bottom and make it in a straight shot, it's possible to get past without a banana. But who would be crazy enough to do that? For 2-8, staying on the side is really all it takes. Same for 2-9 and 2-10. And with that, the Bowser stages are complete. It's on to stage 3 under the ocean. This whole stage is completely submerged under the water. there's coral plants, fish, and even a shipwreck. To make sure that I was getting the full experience though, I held my breath for the entire stage. 3-1 takes a while, but as long as you hit the button and go slow, it's definitely possible. 3-2 just takes a bit of timing. Pretty simple though. 3-3, all you have to do is stick on the sides and should be easy money. The trick to 3-4 is to just go slow and avoid the beans. And then it's an easy finish. 3-5, just go from pocket to pocket and you should be good. 3-6, there's not really much to it. 3-7 is another fork in the road. It's a set of 4 paths that are all littered with bananas. The paths don't look wide enough to pass by, but with enough precision, you can squeak past and finish unscathed. As long as you get a couple nice bounces, 3-8 isn't a problem at all. 3-9 proved to be another big challenge. At the very start of the level, there's a super thin staircase jam-packed with bananas. Every time I tried, I just couldn't seem to get past even the first staircase. It seemed impossible, but I realized where the ending actually was. Right below the first platform. It took some attempts, but I was finally able to hit the platform and finish. Not quite sure why 310 was the last level, but it definitely was the easiest out of the bunch.
Get it? Banana?
Stage 4 is inside a whale. I'm not kidding, that's actually the name. As you may have guessed, this stage takes place inside of a whale, who I guess was hungry because there's cities and skyscrapers and other stuff in there. But let's just start with 4-1. It just requires a quick button press and a little bit of rolling back and forth. Pretty easy though. 4-2 is just a huge spinning comb. Go slow and it's not too bad. In 4-3, you basically just follow the path. 4-4 is just a maze, so just wait for the walls to come up. 4-5 can be a little tricky, but as long as you get a couple good bounces, you can skate to the finish. 4-6. As long as you can get a good launch and land on the top, it's as simple as just rolling in the goal. Make sure to wear your seatbelt on 4-7 because it is pretty bumpy. 4-8 a cakewalk. You can just do it normally and you're fine. 4-9. This level was definitely pretty tricky. The level is made of 3 rotating bridges. If you stand on one side for too long, you're just gonna fall off. This made it difficult to try to swerve past the bananas, specifically at the ends. The first and second bridges are a little weird, but it didn't take me too long to get past consistently. The third bridge is a different story. It has even more blockers in the middle, and if you don't go fast enough, well, rip. I had a couple ideas of how to approach this. First, I tried going fast, but that didn't really work. Then I tried going slow, and that didn't work either. I tried going inside, outside, but I just couldn't get past this one banana. I was staring into the jaws of defeat and was ready to throw in the towel, but then I got this run. Even though I almost fell in the middle and I almost touched a banana at the end, I did pull through. And 4-9 is beatable. Oh yeah, and you can just beat 410. Really making the 10th levels hard, aren't you, Sega? But enough with the fun, on to Stage 5 Amusement Park. This stage is basically a monkey ball Disney World. Except, hopefully this one isn't ran by the mouse. But it does have a plane and a roller coaster, so that's cool. Most of 5-1 is pretty simple, other than the last bridge. Unlike the last couple though, this bridge is impossible to get past. The bananas are even bigger than the track itself. So I'm sorry to say, but it's not possible to pass this bridge without touching a banana. So I guess we're just gonna have to take the jump in the beginning. That'll make our lives a little easier. 5-2 is another jump, but this one's a little easier. 5-3 is super easy to do normally, and it doesn't net you any bananas. 5-4, basically just the same story, but this one's a little more tricky. With the well-timed pause, 5-5 isn't bad either. 5-6 is a little scary, but with a few well-timed jumps, you can make it easily. Just watch out for the last platform. 5-7 does take a little finesse, but stick to the outside, take the path, and you should be good. 5-8's another level that you can just do normally. 5-9 is another bridge, but luckily this doesn't have any bananas, so easy money. 5-10 looks a little daunting, but it's probably the easiest out of the stage. And with that, we're halfway done. 50 levels, 0 bananas. But the worst is still yet to come. Stage 6, Boiling Pot. This stage has an interesting vibe to it. It takes place around a huge pot of food and is surrounded by teepees and even a huge castle. Definitely one of the coolest looking stages and overall wasn't too bad, but one level in particular gave me nightmares. But it wasn't 6-1. This one, not too bad, just one short magic carpet ride. 6-2 is a bit similar to the rotating platforms of 4-9. The only difference is this one's actually easy. Piece of cake. 6-3. Opera. Oh boy, where do I start? This level sucks. The whole thing consists of 2 spiral staircases with, you guessed it, the little yellow rascals at almost every step. It is possible to move past them, but to do it quickly is downright impossible. Also, jumping straight to the end didn't seem possible either. I could barely even get past halfway, so the only solution that I could think of was by jumping over every single banana. Yo, what were the rules again? Let me just so if you take this out, maybe we'll just change this one a little bit. Even with the rule change, it took me about 5 hours to beat this level. As you go further down, the steps just get bigger, so jumping down just usually sends you off the map. With a lot of patience and a small jump at the end, 6-3 is beatable. But at what cost? I do, however, think this level may be possible without jumping. In the Super Monkey Ball 2 speedrun, there is a frame-perfect jump to get past this level. Though there are more bananas in this level, and the physics are a little bit different, jumpless could be possible. But with that being said, I am not gonna try this. Oh god, nope, no way. And onto the better level, and this is way easier. All you have to do is roll off and do a little bit of waiting. Just like that. In 6-5, as long as you take the lower platform and go carefully over the bridge, it's not too bad. In 6-6, going the normal way is basically a death sentence. But I thought it'd be easy enough to just jump to the ends, only there's a pole in the way. And no matter what I did, I'd get close, but it just wasn't working. So I actually found the speedrun strat, and turns out it's way easier. And it took me less tries. As long as you have enough speed on 6-7 and get a nice bounce, you should be good to just straight shot it. 6-8 was straightforward other than the ending, which is a little precise, but not anything bad. And 6-9 is a button pressing simulator. As long as you stick to the sides and avoid the bananas in the middle, 6-10 isn't bad either. Bubbly Washing Machine is the 7th stage. It takes place in a nice Japanese area. There's a clothes rack, a garden, and it seems super peaceful, but trust me, it's not. So we start off with 7-1 Spiral Bridge. The problem is it gets way steeper as it gets to the top. I was getting past the bottom consistently, but I kept losing control at the top. After enough grinding, I finally got this run. But I did miss the cycle, so I had to spin around once, but ended up finishing. 7-2 is another bridge level, and unlike the other ones, this one kind of looks like the Earth. The only shot we had was to take the right path because it was the biggest. I tried to go fast past it a couple times, but figured out that going slow made it a little easier. And what do you know, another banana bridge. But if you use the same strats as the last level, it makes it a lot easier. And just take a small jump into the finish. There you have it. For 7-4, make sure to hit the button, and as long as you beat the domino line, it's not too bad. The beginning to 7-5 is hard, but definitely doable. Just dodge the bananas and the cheese grater things. The ending does require a few jumps though, unfortunately. Both for time and because the bananas are just too big. If you're hanging off even a little bit, you're just gonna get slammed. So as much as it pains me, you do have to use a couple jumps to get past the last bridge. And that makes it the second level that we have to use jumps on. But hey, at least we're banana-less, right? But it's okay because 7-6 was super easy and just relaxing to get banana-less. Same thing with 7-7, though the level was a bit tough at first. Doing it banana-less was not. Pretty easy. 7-8, 7-9, and 7-10 were all pretty simple. Just drop towards the corners in 7-8. Don't go too high on the ramps in 7-9. And if you go to the side, you can pretty much just go straight through 7-10. A bit messy of a stage, but stage 8 Clocktower Factory went a lot smoother. This takes place in a factory, clock tower, machine with bells and... Okay, what are the blocks? I couldn't figure out what the blocks were. The city looks cool and all though, so that's a plus. 8-1 is filled with bananas. Going the intended way is a death sentence for the challenge. But luckily for us, we can just do a simple piston launch and get to the end. 8-2 is a tough level, but as long as you can get onto the last platform cleanly, you should be alright. 8-3 has 2 banana bridges, but luckily for us, they swing. Just do a little monkey launch and you should be good to just skate to the finish. To start 8-4, you have to swerve a little bit around the bananas in the beginning. Then with good button timing, you can just coast to the finish, avoiding all the bananas in the intended route. I'm just gonna let 8-5 play. This was my first try and I don't really know what happened. 8-6 has another button press, but after that, all you have to do is just get on the platform and hold left. With good enough timing, you can just shoot to the finish. 8-7 looks a lot easier than it is. The curved platform is constantly pulling you downwards, but as long as you stay towards the middle, you can complete the level. Just control your jumps, and 8-8 is pretty easy. 8-9 doesn't have too many bananas, so going the intended route is good enough. 8-10 is also surprisingly easy. Just follow the path and you can get a couple nice bounces to go just straight in. Like America in 1969, we're going to space. Well, stage 9 space colony that is, but you get the idea. This stage has it all. A city inside of a ship, a great view of the moon, and what I think is a space laser? I don't really know, I didn't watch any of the cutscenes, so. The first level of stage 9 uses a precise slide over the top of the loops, but luckily, played a lot of Tony Hawk Pro skaters, so it was a breeze. In 9-2, make sure to stick to the top of the platforms, and as long as you have enough speed, you can finish clean. 9-3 is pretty straightforward. 9-4 is the second Tony Hawk level. This one's a little bit easier though. 9-5 is a big maze. Avoiding the bananas isn't too hard, but it does take a little bit longer. Luckily, there's a nice shortcut at the end that saves a bit of time. For 9-6, you basically have to go out of your way to get a banana, so not that bad. 9-7 is a huge slide. It was a bit tricky to find the right path, but as soon as I did, it was smooth sailing. And there really wasn't too much to 9-8 either. 9-9 is by far the hardest Tony Hawk level. We're talking Pro Skater 4 difficult, but as long as you get a good launch and squeeze between the bananas, it's definitely doable. 9-10 closes out the space levels with another easy finish. Overall, the space levels didn't really pose much of a threat, but now is on to the final stretch. Dr. Bad Boon.
Get it? Cause it's like baboon. Bad Boon.
The last 10 levels. Could I prove that it was possible to beat the game bananaless, or was I just a failure? The beginning of the end. 10-1 starts out with another choose your own adventure level. Stick to the left side and go slow where the bananas are. It's an easy clap. Stick along the edges in 10-2 and you can beat it bananaless. It's not too bad, but I did finish it with a buzzer beater. 10-3 is fairly simple, just a little drop down. And so is 10-4, nothing much to it. If you follow the intended path in 10-5, it's kinda hard to even hit a banana, so there you go. 10-6 is the final maze level. The only tough part really comes at the end though. Make sure to avoid the last banana and get enough speed from the corner to make it to the top. Then it's smooth sailing right into the goal. 10-7 is one of the most annoying levels, but it's also fairly easy. Just make sure to have enough speed to make it up the staircases and you should be good. Most of the bananas are spread out in 10-8, so they're simple to avoid. 10-9 is an invisible track. There's 3 bunches of bananas that are a little tough to avoid, especially because the track is, well, invisible. Using the other platforms as reference, you can just skate to the sides of them and be safe. 10-10, the final level. This is where boys become men. This is where we find out if it really is possible to beat Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania with no bananas. Yeah, it is. It's pretty easy. You just gotta land a short jump at the end and there you're good. Ironically, one of the easiest levels in the entire game. And there you have it. Banana Mania Bananaless. This took way too much time to put together and I've been at it for just about a year, so if you enjoyed, please subscribe. I had a ton of fun making this and it was also a really cool challenge. Make sure to check out Nathaniel Bandy's video. he did the same thing, but he also went for the extra stages. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know if there's any other challenges you'd like to see. Until next time, peace.